Alright guys, welcome back. Now that we've got the revised starter open out of the way, I can relax a little bit and whew, that was nerve-wracking. Had to yeah. Anyways, if you haven't watched that video yet, go ahead, go check it out on the channel. We're still probably giving away. There's probably no way it's reached 5,000 views. Plus the cards haven't come back from grading, so yeah. Anyways, Ralph, Patron, decided to commission an angel deck for his girlfriend, and here we go. Let's jump right into it. We're playing green white Sigarda, Font of Blessings. What a great angel to play with, green and white. I know a lot of angels are white, but green, just having green just opens up so many more options, and there's plenty of multicolor angels that are just a lot of fun. And honestly, I couldn't find a Giada. Giada would have been great to have in here, or even just as a commander. But honestly, I think Sigarda is going to work out a lot better, and that'll be an upgrade. Okay, so you can Ralph, go ahead, but fork out like $2 for Giada Font of Hope, and shove that in here for your girlfriend. So I think we ended up at like 108. 108, so small sideboard for him to pick from. And yeah, of course, let's, as always, we'll start out with the beautiful lands. Of course, a foil. Evolving Wilds is always super important. Probably the most important land that could be in the deck. Evolving Wilds, followed by a command tower. Oh my gosh, is that Throne? Is that Throne of Eldraine? Dude, what a command tower. Wow, that's some throwback right there. We got a pathway, beautiful pathway. So I think we tried to include like 10 specialty lands. So like Sunpetal Grove, Scattered Groves, Overgrown Farmland. A lot of these are about $1 to $3. Some of them topping out around $5 too. If anybody's curious, Ralph paid $100 for this deck. So if anybody really wants to, you can deck list it and Minas Tirith. You can deck list it and price it out below. Did Mr. T rip him off, or did we hook him up? Minas Tirith. Add 1, pay 2, tap, draw a card, activate only if you attack with 2 or more creatures this turn. Great white legendary land right there. Drowneth Ruins. We are not playing humans, so everything is non-human. So we do have an opportunity to stack some 1/1s. Probably a little bit towards mid-game, late game. Sungrass Prairie. We got some brushland. And then we are on to the gorgeous basics. A lot of foilies. Yeah, we got some new Raceway basics in there. So we got some Kamigawa, some more Raceway, more Kamigawa. You know, now I just Karlov Manor. Now we're getting to the point where it's Assassin's Creed. There's just so many sets now. So many set symbols. Trying to remember all of them. It's getting a little intense. Plans in our in a botanical. Okay, why not? 4, tap, sack, draw. Just in case, you never know. You might need that at some point. Anyways, I think we rocked it up to 40 lands. Probably. Oh, it's gonna be tight. Angels can be very expensive. They can be quite expensive. So, but we could probably cut down to 38. I would say 38, 39. Anything probably lower than that, you're gonna run the risk of yeah. You definitely run the risk of land stalling. So we got Sigarda, Font of Blessings as our commander. Great commander, because it's going to give all of our permanents hexproof. So basically, if we can give Sigarda a hexproof equipment, that is fantastic. If we can give her an indestructible as well as hexproof, that's even better, because we do have some angels in here that will provide all of our other angels with indestructible. So let's jump right into it. Kimba's Banner. 4 Mirrodin. Totally forget what 4 Mirrodin does, but a quick creature is going to get +1/+1 for each creature you control. Very nice. I mean, we're playing with a lot of flying, so stacking creature tokens, even just getting regular creatures and pumping them up. So that's going to be fantastic. Definitely potential for lethal right there at some point in the game. Growing Rights of the Itilamek. Yeah. I don't know if I could say that last part. Italilomac? Lomac? Lomac. Okay. I like it my way. When growing rights enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. Move a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Rest on the bottom of your library. And beginning of your end step, if you control 4 more creatures, transform. Now, transform is pretty good. Pretty good. We're going to add a green for each creature we control. So it is a pretty heavy creature deck. I want to say running about 40 creatures with token generation. So that's pretty gnarly. All right, Authority of the Consuls. This is a favorite card of mine. I mean, it's just, there's so much value out of it for 1 drop. It's going to slow down your opponents because their creatures are going to enter tapped. And then, in addition to that, you're going to get 1 life, which is fantastic for angel decks and white decks, gaining 1 life whenever a creature enters the battlefield. I mean, that's pretty solid. So they enter tapped, you gain life. There's just so much value right there. All right, privileged position. Other permanents you control have hexproof. It just makes so much sense to pair this up with Sigarda, because Sigarda is going to give your permanents hexproof, and then you're now going to give Sigarda hexproof with this as well. If Sigarda's not on the battlefield, you have this as backup. So, I mean, this will also then get hexproof, so it's going to be harder for people to get rid of it with single target. They're really just going to have to board wipe to get out of it. It wouldn't be tribal if we weren't playing Banner of Kinship. As it enters, choose a creature type. Obviously, we're going to choose Angels. And then it's going to get a Fellowship counter. So, like, hopefully you drop this and you have, like, 10 Angels on the battlefield. And then all your Angels are going to get +1/+1 for each Fellowship counter. So, you're going to get +10/+10 Angels. They'll have freaking flying, man. That's pretty dope in my book. Day of Judgment. It would not be a commander deck or game if you didn't have some board wipes. I think we went for 3 board wipes, if I'm not mistaken. It might be 2. I might have knocked it down to 2 just because it is so creature heavy. I really want to do it as a last resort, and only really it would be nice to do it and we have indestructible on all of our creatures. But anyways, Path of Bravery. As long as your life total is greater than or equal to your starting life total, which should be super easy in this deck, creatures are going to get +1/+1. So you got a nice little banner right there. And then whenever 1 or more creatures you control attack, you're going to gain life equal to the number of attacking creatures. I mean, that's not even going to be a problem either. They're going to have flying. In a lot of cases, too, we're going to give our creatures vigilance. So, I mean, flying, vigilance, you're getting life for... Hey, speaking of getting life, why don't we just make sure that every time we do get life, we get 1 more life. And then if you have 7 more life than your starting total, we're going to get +2/+2 banner. Let's just make our creatures even bigger, you know. Collective effort. Tap an untapped creature you control. So it is the sorcery speed, but we're going to get to be able to choose 1 or more for each time we untap. Pay this cost for each made choice beyond the first. So choose 1 or more. Now I need to go look at the rules for this card, and I just thought of it. It says 1 or more. It doesn't mention choosing... Basically, it doesn't mention choosing 1 more than once. So could you theoretically do this as many times as you have creatures on the battlefield? So like destroy target enchantment, you got 10 creatures. Can I just tap 10 creatures and destroy 10 enchantments? I've never thought about that. I'd have to go look at the rules text. This is 1 or more. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, the rules have changed so much lately, and a lot of the text that we are used to seeing in the past has been updated to make us think about things like that. Like it says you can choose 1 mode more than once, or you can only choose each mode once. So a lot of those things have changed, and honestly I feel like it ends up making us ask more questions than it solves, but you know. Anyways, Archduke's Charm. Choose 1, search your library for a creature or land card, reveal it, put it onto the battlefield tapped if it's a land card, otherwise put it into your hand, then shuffle. Pretty good if you want to go find maybe a creature combo, or you're just desperate for lands. If you're tapping for 3 green, I doubt you're really hurting for land, but the option is there. Maybe you just want to get some card advantage and thin your deck out. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. So I do have a few cards in here to help us do fight and basically get rid of some creatures. And then it will also offer us the ability to target artifact or enchantment. So we get an exile effect right there. I think that this card's just so good in Commander. It offers you so many different options, depending on how the game's going, what the board state is. It's really nice to have cards that have 2, 3, 4 options to pick from, because you never know what's going to happen. You really don't. We got Faithful Absence here, so we're going to destroy target creature or planeswalker. Just nice little instant removal. Dawn's Truce. What an interesting card. So I had to go look up gift a card. So what it sounds like to me is that by promising to gift a card, we're basically promising, I believe, to gift this card. So we're going to gift this card to somebody else to cast at a later time for themselves, which is quite interesting. It's a little double-edged, but depending on if somebody, maybe there's somebody's playing and they're not really playing creatures, so I don't know. But anyways, permanents, you control gain hexproof for the turn, and then if the gift was promised, you're going to give your permanents indestructible. So that's really what I was going for on this card, is just to give all of our stuff indestructible, kind of avoid some board wipes. Absolutely fantastic. Since there's a lot of ways for us to gain life, we need at least one win con, and we can't put a fellow dark cat in here because it's a cat. It's not an angel. I know some of the art actually does make it kind of look like it's a cat angel, but it's not an angel, so it did not come in here. So instead, we've got this. Beginning of your upkeep, if you have 40 or more life, you win the game. I hope she wins with that. I really hope that she wins with that. That would be fantastic. The Book of Exalted Deeds. We do not have the combo for this to turn our... there's 2 lands now that do it, that are every creature type. The Faceless Haven, and then I think they just made another one that it also becomes every creature type. So basically, it was in standard for like a solid day, and then I think they banned this immediately on Arena because it was just holding up games, and it was absolutely stupid. But at the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, create a 3/3 white angel creature token with flying, pay 3, tap, exile Book of Exalted Deed, put an enlightened counter on target angel. It gains you can't lose the game, and your opponents can't win the game. I mean, that was pretty bonkers because not a lot of people run land destruction. Even some of your sacrifice lands that let you target and destroy non-basic lands, even sometimes we can get around that. I mean, we can just give our creature indestructible and just... You're not going to run into a lot of those. Most of the time, decks are only running 1 or 2. So, I mean, Ralph, if you hate your life and you just want to provide another win con for if we can't get rid of that one land, then, she wins. Then, yeah, I would get her a Faceless Haven, and I just cannot remember the other one. But it's another colorless land that turns into a creature that has every creature type. So it's an angel. Anyways, Sigarda Splendor. Beginning of your when it enters battlefield, note your life total, and then at the beginning of each upkeep, draw a card if your life total is greater than or equal to the last noted total. And then whenever you cast a white spell, you gain 1 life. I mean, it's draw engine. It's gonna gain you life. So fantastic. Good card. Good card. Flare of Cultivation. You may sacrifice a non-token green creature rather than play this spell's mana cost. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal those cards. I mean, 3 is not a whole lot to pay, but if you do have a green creature on the battlefield, I mean, why not? Maybe you can just get rid of something that's just hanging out and not really doing much work. I don't know that we have a lot of green angels going on, though. Other than our commander, I really can't think of too many. We won't go too far ahead, though. Catechus Staff of Hermes. This is a great equipment for any deck that is, I mean, honestly, in Commander in general, because you start out with more than 30 life anyways, but anything that's a life gain deck, fantastic equipment. So as long as you have more than 30 life, equipped creature has +5/+5, and has indestructible. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to this creature. It's only 2 to equip, and then the equipped creature is also going to get lifelink. I just think that's such a good card. Yeah. All right, we've got another board wipe here. So that's our second board wipe. I really just cannot remember. I don't think there's really a need for a third board wipe, but since it is very, very heavy past 4 mana, there's a lot of cards in here that are 5, 6, 7 mana to cast. Maybe a third board wipe would be nice, just to kind of keep the board state manageable while you might be building up for this deck. Might have to play it once or twice just to find out. But Valkyrie Harbinger. At the beginning of each instep, if you gain 4 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. So this is going to be great if anybody's playing other creature decks and they put a bunch of creatures onto the battlefield. So if you have consoles or anything like that, whenever a creature enters and you gain some life, I mean, if you get 4 or more life during another opponent's turn, that's absolutely fantastic. You're going to get a 4/4 flying angel with vigilance. Can't hate on that. I mean, there's tons of life gain. At minimum, you should be at least getting it on your own turn. We've got Angelic Arbiter, so yeah, we got some big angels in here. Each opponent who casts a spell this turn can attack with creatures. Yeah, that doesn't sound fair. So basically, determine if you want to take your main phase 1, or well. Actually, if each opponent is attacked with a creature, then its turn can't cast spells. So you gotta decide: do you want to attack or do you want to cast spells? One or the other every turn. Angelic Arbiter. Skip your main phase 1 and go attack, and then not have a main phase 2 really. But yeah, there's just no way around it. It sucks. Angel of Condemnation. So this is kind of nice. You've got a bounce spell. So exile another target creature, turn that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next instep, and then you can exert it to exile another target creature until it leaves the battlefield. So you have an opportunity to replay some of your own ETBs. It is a 3/3 flying vigilance angel. So hopefully you have some banners, anthems out that are going to pump this, because it is a little susceptible to that under 5 board wipe, but I don't think it's going to be very hard to stack some counters or get indestructible. There's just so many things going on in this deck that I think once it gets to about it's definitely a more mid-range game. But once you get past that midpoint, I think this deck's just gonna steamroll. Sigarda's Vanguard. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, choose any number of creatures with different powers. Those creatures gain double strike until end of turn. Flash, flying, 3/3. I mean, this could really just be a finisher. Yeah, pretty much it could be a finisher. Or it could just come in and save the day. You just double strike and kill everything that somebody attacks you with. Mostly a finisher, though. 5-drop, flash. They'll never see it coming. Angel of Serenity, another big 7-drop. What is this, like, Commander? Is that Commander 15? Good lord. A 10-year-old card. It is from the list reprint, though, so it enters the battlefield to exile up to 3 other target creatures from the battlefield and or creatures from graveyards, and then when it leaves the battlefield, return all exiled cards to their owner's hands. It could be nice. We don't have a lot of recur from our own graveyard, so we could just end up recurring from our own graveyard, or we could just end up bringing back spells that may have a cast ability or an ETB ability. There's plenty of options with Angel of Serenity. Too bad it doesn't have flash. Alright, Platinum Angel. It just would not be an Angel deck if you did not have Platinum Angel in it. You can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. It's a 7-drop. It's pretty big. It's only a 4/4, so susceptible to a lot of those under 5 sweepers. It's okay, though. It's alright. We're going to give all of our Angels indestructible, and as long as the guard is in play, it's going to have hexproof. Resplendent Marshal. 3-drop. Enters battlefield or dies, you may exile another creature card from your graveyard. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control other than Resplendent Marshal that shares a creature type with the exile card. Alright, so we're going to exile an Angel. Everybody's going to get +1/+1. Pretty good. Pretty good. Adakar Valkyrie. When target creature other than Adakar Valkyrie dies this turn, return that card to the battlefield under your control. I mean, that's just so mean to be in white, because that's more of like a blue ability or a black ability. But you can use that to steal other people's stuff. You can use it to bring back your own stuff. I mean, so many options. It was like Commander 14. Good lord. So it was like 2014. All right, we are at the 11-year mark You know what's crazy? This is the original one. This is 11 years old. You can even see, unfortunately, a small little nick right there, but great card. Did try and sleeve everything that I used to play with, so I didn't at first. Big mistake, but I learned very quickly. I think the first time I went to a Friday night event, a little bit after I started playing, everybody was just like, "What are you doing?" And I was just like, "What? Just cards." This was before the craziness of like Pokemon re-blowing up, and before Magic. Before I really even got into the world of Magic and buying insane amounts of cards and sealed product and just yeah, bad decisions. Not that bad because obviously I learned very quickly. But anyways, moving on. Radiant Solar. We've got an Angel with Flying and Lifelink. It's a 3/6, very nice. Whenever it enters or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you can venture into the dungeon. I mean, I just love the fact that there are just so many things that we can do. So many pathways in the dungeons. I mean, you can go complete some dungeons, and then one, you can discard it, venture into the dungeon, and you gain 3 life. Nice thing, too, is that or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, which means you can move forward just by casting more creature cards. I mean, it has lifelink too. This overall, I'm gonna give this a good card. A good angel. Righteous Valkyrie, fantastic 3-drop angel. Whenever another angel or cleric enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. As long as you have at least 7 life more than your starting life total, creatures you control get +2/+2. So good, so good. That's like Giada. This one, Giada, they're practically just angel staples at this point. They're just super good angels. I mean, for it being a 3-drop, Giada being a 2-drop, I think Giada would be a fantastic addition to this deck because they're really. I look so hard. I know I've opened them. I know I've given them away, and if I had found one, I'd have put it in here. But apparently I've given them all away. I know I've pulled a ton. You know what? Maybe I should ask him if he wants to get lucky and try and open a new Capenna Giada. Oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious. We open one pack and we get it right off the bat. All right, Angel of Indemnity. We've got Flying. We've got Lifelink. Enters the battlefield. Return target permanent card with mana value 4 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. You can Encore it for 8. I totally forget what Encore does. Yeah, totally forget. Go look it up. Somebody who watched this far, look it up. Comment below. Tell us what it does. We've got Exemplar of Light. +1/+1 for every time we gain life. And then when you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on this creature, you're going to draw a card. It's only going to trigger once each turn. However, if you have Console of the Consoles, that's going to pair up super nicely because that means you're going to draw during every other player's turn. If they play a creature card, you gain life, anything like that. I mean, that's such a good that's so good. Nice synergy right there. At the minimum, you're going to gain life every turn, every one of your turns, and then you're going to be able to put counters and draw a card whenever he's out on the battlefield. So at least one time around the table, you're gonna get life, you're gonna get counters, you're gonna draw a card. I mean, there's so much value for 4-drop. Archangel of Tithes. To this day, we still don't understand how to say it, but that's okay. But as long as it's untapped, creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. And then as long as it's attacking, creatures can't block unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. I mean, that's pretty fun. So, nice little ability right there. Karmic Guide. We've got Flying, Protection from Black. It's got Echo, 3 and 2 at the beginning of your upkeep. If this card came under your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, sacrifice it unless you pay its Echo cost. When it's battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, which is really nice. I mean, yeah, you could just let it sacrifice. So you get it for a turn. Might as well just use it as a chump blocker. Or you can keep it around if you really want to, or let it go to the graveyard. Jeez. I mean, there's so many things you could do with this. You could just bounce it every turn, right? So at the beginning of your upkeep, this came into your control since the beginning of your last upkeep. I mean, in response, yeah, I want to go check that now. So, because I think we might be able to do that in response with that angel from earlier. Let us see. I think that will work. Oh, sometimes. Okay. Angel of Condemnation. Let's check this out real quick. So exile another target creature. Okay, so return that card to the battlefield under. So we can do that. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. So we'll be able to bounce Karmic Guide in response to having to pay its echo cost, and then it won't be we won't have to worry about that echo cost. Fantastic. That should work. I mean, somebody tell me I'm crazy if the echo cost you can't respond to it, but I mean, in my mind that makes sense because it's gonna go on the stack, and it's gonna say, "Hey, can you pay 5?" And you're gonna be like, "Pay 5 for what?" Because actually, and you're doing it at your at the beginning of your upkeep, so you have untap step first, so you can just do that on your untap. So untap everything before you move to upkeep. That makes sense, 100%. Anyways, Resplendent Angel. At the beginning of each end step, if you gained 5 or more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance, and then you can also pop it for 6 and get +2/+2 in lifelink. That's a crazy amount. I think that should say creatures you control get +2/+2 and lifelink until end of turn. I mean, for 6, that's insane. Merchant of Truth. We've got a little 4-drop 2/5 Angel Detective right here on the case. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, investigate. Clues you control have exalted. I mean, we're just going to get a bunch of investigate. We're going to get a bunch of clue tokens, which is cool because we can then pop those clue tokens if we really need to. The tokens aren't really going to be there for anything, but it is going to have some use. I mean, who doesn't want a clue token? You go scry top of your deck, etc. You never know. Steel Seraph. Fantastic. What a good angel. Artifact creature angel. You can drop it on the field early for 3 as a 3/3, and then begin combat on your turn. Target creature you control gains your choice of flying, vigilance, or lifelink. I just, ever since this card came out, I've absolutely loved it. This is so good. Later in the game, you have enough mana, pop it out for 5/4, or just blink it off the battlefield, bring it back on, and it's transformed into 5/4. So it's a 5/4 with that ability. All right, here's where it gets weird. I only have 1 copy of Legion Angel, Ralph, so I can't include like infinite copies of Legion Angel. But I mean, just ask your table. Guys, can I have infinite copies of Legion Angel, or are we restricting to 15 sideboard? Whatever. It's not like it's good, but when it enters battlefield, you reveal a card you own named Legion Angel from outside the game and put it into your hand. So just, every turn you just get to keep casting a Legion Angel. So if you don't have anything, you're drawing nothing, and you just want a bunch of random 4/3 flying angels on the battlefield every turn, go for it. Windshaper Planetar. Plantar? I guess that's Plantar. That reminds me of Palantir from Lord of the Rings. Anyways, it's got flash, it's got flying. Enters battlefield during the declare attacker step. For each attacking creature, you may reselect which player or planeswalker that creature is attacking. That's so dirty. I mean, somebody swings at you for lethal, and you're just like, or are you? And you're swinging at him for lethal. Now you're swinging at her for lethal, and there's just so many bad things going on there. They think they're going to kill you, and then they're not. All right, Aegis Angel, so good. I mean, why not? Because when it enters battlefield, another target permanent gains indestructible for as long as you control it. I guess we're just going to give our commander indestructible and hopefully hexproof, and then maybe we'll give Aegis Angel hexproof, or we'll give Aegis Angel indestructible as well. So it's going to be crazy. Absolutely crazy. You're going to just stack hexproof, protection, and indestructible on everything as much as possible. Those are the makings of a great deck. Voice of All. Flying, enters the battlefield, choose a color. It has protection from the chosen color. I love protection from chosen color. I mean, this is great against multicolor decks that are leaning towards a certain color. It's also good for overpowered monocolor decks, and you just want to have protection. I mean, pop lifelink on this thing, give it protection. It can't take damage, but it deals damage. Can't be blocked by them. So, just so many things. So many things going on. Victory's Herald. Flying, when Victory's Herald attacks, creatures gain flying and lifelink until end of turn. I mean, everything's got flying anyways, but let's just go ahead and give everything lifelink. Sarah's Guardian. Here we go. A 6-drop 5/5. It's got vigilance, and then other creatures you control have vigilance. Why not? They've already got flying. They are probably going to have lifelink. Let's just go ahead and give them vigilance too. Make my day. Pristine Angel. You guys are seeing a theme here, though. A lot of 5, 6, 7 drops. Tons. I really think that... I really am so upset that I did not find a Giada to add in here. As long as it's untapped, it has protection from artifacts and from all colors. Insanity. And then when you cast a spell, you may untap Pristine Angel. Just insane. Protection from all colors. So as long as it gets vigilance on it, it's game over, man. Game over, man. All right, Adamant Will, Indestructible, +2/+2. Vanguard Seraph. Whenever you gain life for the first time each turn, we're going to Severe 1. That's fantastic. Going to give us basically a free scry. Talkari Library, yeah. And you can just throw it into your graveyard. So basically a free scry. I don't really like discarding into graveyard in Commander unless I'm absolutely I'm playing a graveyard deck. But that's just me. Yeah, believe in the heart of the cards, guys. Youthful Valkyrie. Fantastic angel. Whenever that angel you control enters, put a +1/+1 on Youthful Valkyrie. Great 2-drop right there. Angel of Finality. Creature enters, exile target player's graveyard. Nice to get rid of somebody's graveyard if they're a heavy recur black deck. Dazzling Angel. Another creature enters, gain 1 life. Great. Metropolis Reformer. Flying, vigilance, you have hexproof, and then is dealt damage, gain that much life. I don't think you're really going to be, it's going to be taking a lot of damage, seeing it has flying and vigilance, but, you having hexproof is fantastic. People can't target you to make you discard. They can't target you for life loss, things like that. So, a lot of things going on there that it can protect you from. Thraben Watcher. Flying, vigilance, other non-token creatures you control get +1/+1 and have vigilance. Why not? Let's just give things vigilance. I'm telling you. All right. Sarah the Benevolent. Creatures you control with flying, which pretty much is everything in this deck, get +1/+1 until end of turn. So it's going to be its +2, which is, one turn goes around and it's immediately at 6. But your -6 to get emblem with, if you control a creature, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1, reduces it to 1 instead. So as long as you control a creature, basically you just can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. At least by damage. So I guess we should say that. You can't lose by damage. I guess you can still get milled out on that. Vivian Reed. What a good planeswalker. Always like this one. Nice removal right here. So creature with flying, enchantment, artifact, that's great for us. We can get rid of any flyers that people might have. We want to keep our air dominance. And then we can look at top 4 cards of our library, reveal a creature or land, put it into our hand, and then the rest go on the bottom of our library randomly. And then we get a -8 emblem for creatures you control, get +2/+2, have vigilance. They have Vivianance, and they have trample and indestructible. Dear God, please get that emblem. Please make my day. All right, so we got Omen of the Hunt. So we've got some land. We need some search our library for land, and scry. All right, so some really cool cards here. Guardian Project, such a good card for Commander. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if it doesn't have the same name as another creature you control, go figure. We're not playing rats or any of those weird decks where you can have any number of creatures with the same name in them. They need to make an angel like that, though. Angel of 1, right? Okay. Angel of 1. You can have any number of Angel of 1s in your deck and in your sideboard. Haha. So When it enters the battlefield, you can search your sideboard for any number of them and put them into your deck. Infinite cards in your deck. Alright, anyways. Whenever a non-token creature is in the battlefield, if it doesn't have the same name, another creature you control, or a creature card in your graveyard, draw a card. So basically, anytime a non-token creature enters, you get to draw a card in Commander. Such a good card for Commander. Sword of Light and Shadow. Quick creature gets +2/+2, has protection from white and black. And then when a quick creature deals combat damage to a player, gain 3 life. Great on the 3 life. You may return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. This is the only graveyard recur that we really have. We're going to have to recast from our hand though, but still, Sword of Light and Shadow, such a fantastic card, especially if you're playing colors that just don't have a lot of access to graveyard recur. So Swiftfoot, Commander Sphere, Valorous Stance, we've got Indestructible and Destroy Toughness for a greater. We've got Artifact Enchantment Removal, Artifact Enchantment Removal. We could spot remove something from a graveyard if we really need to. Angelic Purge, I chose this card mostly for the fact that, well, it says Angelic Purge, so I just thought it really fit with the theme. And it's not too bad either. Cast a spell, sacrifice a permanent, so we can sacrifice off one of those useless clue tokens that we might have sitting around. And then we can exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment. Pretty good. Struggle for Skimfar. So +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And then a creature fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. You can foretell it for 1. So pay 2 early on, pay 1 for a total of 3. If you get this in your hand early, then might as well, because you may not need it for a while. But I like to be able to fight, plus you're going to gain life from fighting. It is at sorcery speed, but if you foretell it, you can get it out of your hand. And yeah. Flaming Fist. Commander creatures you own have whenever this creature attacks against double strike until end of turn. I mean, with the number of anthems, the ability to stack, the lifelink, your commander at some point can probably do pretty well for going lethal. If you give it lifelink, I mean, that's just great because you're just going to keep gaining life and then getting tokens. But if you also give it double strike, it's just crazy, man. Some cool things. Quick creature has Vigilance, Ring of Thune. Such a good equipment. Beginning of your upkeep, put a +1/+1 counter on a quick creature if it's white. Well, just about everything in here is a white creature. Born to Drive. It doesn't fit in. Does not fit in with Born to be Wild. But we were born to drive. Artifact or creature enchantment. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +1/+1 for each creature. So nice little stack right there. I mean, it only takes, what, 5-6 creatures onto the battlefield? Let's see. What does Sigarda start out at? So 4. So yeah, really it takes about 5 or 6 creatures on the battlefield to put Sigarda into +1/+1 double strike territory for lethal. Same thing here. Quick creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. And then open the armory. We can go look for any of those world-ending auras or equipment. Can even add in some things if you really want to that you just like better. But anyways, that's the deck. Ralph, thanks for your patience. I hope you enjoy it. Been a very kind. I gotta say, I can't say thank you enough. Honestly, there have been so many people who have discussed with me on the channel, all magic related, but in addition to that, there have been people who have commissioned for decks, just supported on Patreon. So that just helps me be able to create more content, because whenever somebody purchases a deck, it's a video I can do, and hopefully you see some cards here that you've never seen before. And you kind of, I mean, if you follow along enough, closely enough, you can usually see a lot of the thought process behind the decks I put together. There is quite a bit of randomness, since I've got like a bajillion singles just sitting here. So there was a little bit of randomness. Sometimes I do try to find specific cards. Like I looked so hard for a Giada. I just knew that was something to go into an angel deck, especially being white. But unfortunately we weren't able to find it. But I hope at least everybody's able to learn something from the content, from the cards. It is I think in my mind, $100 for this deck. I mean, somebody priced out one of the other decks I did, actually. This is crazy. This blew my mind. Somebody priced out one of the decks I did probably like a week or two ago. I think I even put it in the comments and I linked it. They put it into Moxfield, and when I took a look at the price on Moxfield, I was blown away. I think the deck was $100 deck. I might even have just given it away for free. I can't remember. I do try to do 1, 2, 3 decks a month. But they Moxfield it, and then the price of the cards in the deck ended up being over $300. I was just like, I was just blown away. So this is definitely an awesome benefit for anybody who follows the channel, supports, and wants to have a deck of cards, obviously for cheap. Typically, I try to put them around $100, but it's also a chance for me to just create additional content. And honestly, I have so much fun building decks. I have always been just like, it's just been the most fun part. Probably more fun than actually going and playing them. I don't know what's going on with the camera. The camera probably said, shut up, you're rambling. That's it for me, guys. Enjoy your day. The camera said so. I gotta go now.